Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new to this channel, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Latish Shankar. I am the author of 5 books. All of my books have been translated into 7 foreign languages: Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, French, Afrikaans, Dutch, and Greek. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you how we shall describe or how we shall develop a character. If you are an aspiring writer or you have the passion of listening to stories or reading books or watching movies in a creative manner, creative approach, a typical knowledge of how to develop each character is actually important. So there are different types of characters, what we call as the protagonist, antagonist, supporting characters. So it's very important to develop each of the characters there. There are some characters who don't play a major role in the story, and describing such type of character might not be so important, but it's very important to describe the main character or the protagonist or the antagonist or even some of the supporting characters. But overall, the knowledge of developing each character is a must. So please do watch this video till the end. Shoot out to me any questions that you come across, if any. Thanks so much. Okay, so this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and this is the z-axis here. Okay, so we are describing a point is here in the space. I'll denote it as here in the plane of the this xy plane or yz plane, anyway, wherever it is. Okay, so when we define a character, so the character we define in this three-dimensional space. So let me call one as the depth of the character, then the personality of the character, okay, and then towards this way, that is the motivation of the character. It's as simple as how it sounds. The depth of the character, describe them in more detail. So what are their flaws, what are they, how they look like the readers should get a clear picture of that character so that they could resonate easily with that character. Okay, so that's about the depth of the character. So personality of the character is like, don't create the characters as though they know everything on the earth under the sun. So they have their own strengths, they have their own weakness. So how do they react in particular situations, and how good is their emotional levels, and what are their hobbies, what seems more interesting to them and what are not. All this comes under personality. Okay, and one that comes in the z direction is the motivation. So if it is an antagonist who is killing someone, then what's the motive of that villain that he has to kill? That it should be like convincing to the readers. Okay, so if someone kills someone, or someone does any harm to someone, or someone behaves very dumb in one particular situation, what are the things that are leading to that particular things? That particular happening is nothing but we term it as the motivation. So one character, so the character, as how the plot, in the plot, how the story develops, the character is moving in that particular direction. Okay, after an event, so this we call it as an event. So in this event, the character should behave as how the quality is attributed to him. So that particular character has to move accordingly in the series of those events. So when it is in a linear way, you can observe that either one of the quantity will never change. So maybe the personality of the character or the motivation, who has a stronger motive in their mind, or something has not changed, but it entirely depends on the story. So the graph will go how the story will take them. So the plot and the characters are interrelated in that it is not separable. The character is not separable from the plot. So what happens to the character is the author's imagination, and it is the author that is taking the story forward. The character that we create needn't be saving the world. So, but they can help a family, they can rescue a family from a natural calamity, or they can help somebody to avoid become bankrupt, or something that a character should possess. So the thing here is that we have to try to build up the character which is realistic. We do not want to portray some caricatures. We want the real people. So for time being, we will set aside what we call it as the political correctness. I hate that word. So politically correct characters are not required for a realistic novel, because as we know that in our society we are bounded with the people who are politically incorrect, and we are telling the real stories of real people. So, as I think I have told in my previous video, that in order to come out of the politically correct cage, the first draft that you write should be your own, and nobody is allowed to peep inside what you have written and comment on what you have written. That will lower your confidence, and your story will not be taken to the next level. To avoid that, write the first draft on your own and come after 2 days or 3 days with a fresh mind to see what you have written, and there might be so many things that you want to change, so many things, and if you deliberately see some of the things that are not important, you feel, or they do not contribute much to the story that you have written, then please avoid it. And afterwards we have a fresh draft with you, and let us try to polish such type of a draft. All the characters being so realistic, they should have their own strengths, their own weakness, their own hobbies, their own way of thinking. So you have to set the typical quality, or you have to attribute each unique quality to the people or that you create, to the character that you create, and that's what we can see. Almost every readers want to see the protagonist succeed, but it shouldn't be that easy, because the antagonist is that we have attributed the quality of the stronger character is the antagonist. So protagonist, with the help of the supporting characters, these supporting characters means I mean that they should support the main character. They can oppose them, or they can be either neutral to them, or they can be very helpfully, they can support them, whatever it is. So the protagonist has to collect the resources, the skills, to beat the antagonist, to meet the requirements, or to exceed the requirements what the antagonist is setting for in the story, and then that's what takes our story to move forward. So remember, it is not that easy for the protagonist to succeed, but we have to give time for the protagonist to set the skills and other resources required to meet the needs of the antagonist, and that's how we have to take our story forward. Also, the antagonist should be stronger enough, the villain. The villain's motive should actually be a crisis to the protagonist. And also, if the villain kills somebody, or if he does harm to someone, there should be a reason to do that. There should be a motive for the villain to perform his act, and that should be convincing to the readers. Like, readers should try to relate themselves to what is happening in the story, rather than don't create a protagonist as a perfect of all. Develop the characters that reflect your interests. That means since you are going to spend a lot of time with your protagonist, so it's always better that you create the protagonist who reflects your own interests. That means prioritize your passions, prioritize what you need to do that, and what interests you the most, and then attribute the similar type of quality to the character that you create. So I guess it would be easier for you to move along with the story. And overall, remember that the most important characters that you create will definitely surprise them. And so these are some of the tips or some of the tricks that I use to create some of the characters and some of the successful characters. So I hope that it might be helpful to you. So I'm glad to share this with you. And if you have any other suggestions to me, please make use of the comment box section. And also, if you have any questions on anything that I have discussed, I have shared here, please feel free to comment your opinions. Thanks so much. Have a great day.